How you doing? This is electrojed, and this is my review for season 7, episode 2 of Game of Thrones. And I want to just get right into it. First things first. When the show opens up, it opens up with Dany and her, what you might call her small council, at meeting already. And I kind of liked, in fact, no, I liked a lot the fact that Dany went at Viserys to find out where his loyalties stand, because over the past 6 years, Viserys' alliances have been quite questionable. I mean, he is called the Spider. I mean, she brought up the fact that they try to support her brother, who would have been a mean and cruel king, and she brought up the fact that there were assassins sent up after her, and this was all the doing of Robert and, of course, Viserys. Viserys, what I liked about what he did was he stood his ground somewhat. I mean, she kind of put him in check, no lie, but he did stand his ground, and I liked that. For a guy with no balls, he showed an extraordinary amount of balls on that move. He stood up to her and said, I had no choice, but I'm not going to just follow you blindly. I see that you have the potential to be, I'm paraphrasing, of course. I see that you have the potential to be a great queen, but I'm not just going to follow you blindly. And I liked that dialogue that they had between the two of them. And it worked out well. I mean, it could have gone any way, but I thought it worked out well. So kudos to the show writers on getting that across. Then at the end of their conversation, we got Melisandre, the red witch that comes in, and they start talking, and she speaks to Dany about Jon Snow, and of course, knowing what she knows, she didn't tell the whole story of what went on, but she did say that Dany had a role in what was to come on. Not that Dany was the prince that was promised, the Azor Ahai prophecy, but she did say that Dany had a role, that also Jon had a role, and that she should seek out Jon and listen to what he has to say. I like the way they put that. And of course, Dany's going to send, the Raven to Winterfell. And I like the way that Tyrion stood up for Jon and said Jon's an honorable person. And that kind of like got me right here. Good knows good, just like evil knows evil. But that being said, she obviously is going to send the Raven. The only part that I'm not sure is going to go over well is the bend the knee part. Because she's sending a Raven with the message for him to come down south and then bend the knee. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see soon, next week, I believe. Okay, now back up in Winterfell. What's going on up there, I liked everything that was going on up there. It kind of proved, to me at least, that Sansa's not going to betray Jon. I don't think there's that much instability, or as much instability there as a lot of other reviewers are saying. I pretty much think Sansa trusts Jon, and after this episode, we know Jon trusts Sansa because he left her the north. Even though he had a lot of opposition about him going to go see Daenerys, you kind of knew he was going to do that. We all got spoilers and stuff like that. We all knew he was going to see her eventually because of the dragon glass. They need it to fight the White Walkers. So he's going to go, and he's going to broker whatever deal he can to be able to mine that stuff and get it to the north as quick as possible. Plus, she has dragons. That's going to help out some. He's not really worried about what's going on down south or who's in power and who's sitting on the Iron Throne. And hopefully he can get this across to Daenerys and maybe she can see the importance of what's going on up north instead of what's going on around King's Landing. Up north is all that matters. That's where the big problem's at. Got to take care of it. I like the fact that both Sansa and Jon trust Tyrion. They don't think he's a bad guy. He's not a typical Lannister. He means well. That being said, it's going to be a big move for Jon to go down there and put himself in that situation, which I think is going to turn out okay personally, but let's see what happens next week. One other thing I wanted to bring up, the situation that happened with Littlefinger in the crypts. I mean, the nerve that he went down into the crypts while Jon is down there visiting Ned's, tomb. That's the ballsy shit right there. I don't know what the fuck Littlefinger was thinking about, but it takes some big brass cojones to tell Jon that first he loved Caitlyn, and then now he loves your sister Sansa. He's trying to get his grubby little fingers, and he actually let Jon know that he... That's my wife. She feels some sort of way about this situation. You don't like that idea, baby? Oh, no. Moving on. In this same episode, they get the Raven also from Sam from the Citadel, which I'll be getting to in a little while. It's a done deal. He's gonna go, and he has to go. They need to see each other. He needs to get to tell her how important, and she needs to see him eye to eye. Moving on. King's Landing. Yeah, just like everybody thought, and I already knew that Cersei was going to use the Mad King, Mad Queen descendant is going to happen, and because the Mad King is the father of Daenerys, she's going to lose her mind and torture and have the Dothraki rape and pillage and all this. Of course she's going to use that, and we all knew it. She's a manipulator. She's going to spin the story her way, just like she used to tell Joffrey back in the day. The history is written by whoever is in power at the time. She's in power. The history is going to go to the way she says. It's a load of bullshit, but it is what it is. The fact that Jaime used the same tactics that his father Tywin used with Walder Frey and Roose Bolton about promising Roose the Warden of the North and gave Walder Frey the Riverlands. He's doing the same thing with Tarly, with Sam's father, who was the only general to ever beat Robert Baratheon in the rebellion that happened over Olenna Stark. That being said, he's kissing some serious ass and trying to get this guy to side with the Lannisters. Okay, let me just get this out of the way. Missandei and Grey Worm. Cute. Okay, I see it. They love each other, blah, blah, blah. Not my thing. Moving on. At the most, he's going to give her the Jon Snow treatment, and that's that. Man, let me tell you. Sam stepping up to the plate and trying to help Jorah. Good for him. Kudos. Loved it. Katie and I both, Katie being my wife, and I both thought that Sam doing the procedure himself, even though he was not given permission to, was one of the grossest things you ever seen. All that pus and junk coming out. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen those videos where they're popping cysts and stuff. Yeah, I ran into a couple of those. I think that's where they got the idea for this part of Game of Thrones because that's what it looked like. Gross. Damn. Just damn. Let's just get right into it. Arya hooks up and meets up with Hot Pie. Now, not for nothing, but Hot Pie is like the internet of Game of Thrones, of Westeros, because goddamn, that kid gets a hold of all kinds of information. He knows what's going on up north. He knows what's going on down south. He knows where everybody's going. You know, when Arya told him, keep safe and don't die, I think she told him that because of his big mouth. But no, I like him. I like Hot Pie. I like the fact that they reunited. That was good in my book. It was a satisfying moment. But the fact that Hot Pie told him that Jon is now the king of the north. Here we got a game changer. She decides to go up north instead of, heading down to King's Landing and wiping out the queen. Now, I'm not saying my theory from last week is null and void. No. I still think that's how it could happen. But, it's just going to happen a little later. But to see Arya head north I'm looking forward to a reunion. I know she's not going to get a chance to see Jon. That sucks. She'll probably get a chance to see Bran and Sansa. That I can't wait for. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. And God, I hope she kills Littlefinger. God, just let it happen. Anyway, moving on. Best reunion of all time. Arya and Nymeria. Did you see how big that fucking wolf was? Holy crap. Man, it was a tearjerker. Katie told me it was a tearjerker because, I'm a guy. We don't cry over stuff like that. But she did, Oh, I'm Nymeria. Yeah, that was her. Me, I was like, whatever. But yeah, that was a great reunion. I'm glad that happened too. But now, moving on to that awesome Greyjoy head-to-head battle royale. Dude, Euron was not fucking joking around. I don't know, there was I think it was the Romans that did it, that they had the ships, that when they rammed another ship, that a drawbridge came down so that the people from the ramming ship would go over and go ahead and attack the people that just hit. That's where I thought they got the idea from. Great strategy. Man, it was a great battle. I loved it. Done it at night. It just looked spectacular. I have to say that's one of my best fighting scenes. It doesn't beat Battle of the Bastards. No. Battle of the Bastards, top of the list. Top tier battle royale. But this one, good second or third. I am a big fan of Yara Greyjoy. I like Yara a lot. I hope she survives, but I don't think she will. I know that the mom of the Sand Snakes, no, she ain't. That bitch dead. Cersei's gonna do it herself probably just to get the satisfaction. But yeah, that battle, as I see, it was great. Well, we had another reunion. We got to see Reek again. Yep, Reek came by. He finished off the show this past Sunday. Yeah, Theon totally left. Reek came back. Disappointing. Anyway, that's it for this week's review of Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 2. Don't forget, next week we're going to do, again, a reaction video for Episode 3, and then the following day we'll do the review. Peace.